Because Planet X is in a long elliptical orbit around our Sun and is approaching from the south, the first point where it actually reaches the core of our system will be at the ecliptic, the second coordinate of the electrical kill zone. The third and final point of the electrical kill zone is known as perihelion, the point in space where the orbit of Planet X brings it closest to the Sun. The triangular zone created by these three coordinates is the electrical kill zone, because this is where the electrical interaction between Planet X and the Sun will be the most violent. How this solar violence affects the Earth will depend on two things. The first is the electrical properties of Planet X, depending on what it is. If it is an asteroid-like object, the interaction will be relatively mild, whereas a comet-like body will be markedly intense. However, if it is a mini-constellation, the interaction could likely be catastrophically severe. Then, of course, the big question becomes, where will Earth be relative to Planet X and the Sun when Planet X enters the electrical kill zone? In formulating the 8-level countdown you're about to see, we've taken these plus several other factors into account. What you're going to see next is a summary of the findings. For more in-depth information, a book with a transcript of this program plus a detailed technical briefing is available. Published in several popular ebook formats, you can learn more about it and other 2012 and Planet X related topics at yowza.com. That's YOWUSA.com. The 8-level countdown you are about to see is based on 8 different alignments between Planet X, Earth, and the Sun. All 8 of these alignment positions will be presented using a top-down view from above the Earth looking down on our solar system. Please note that the objects presented in these illustrations are not scaled to size. On the far side of the Sun, those 2 positions are conjunction and superior conjunction. The 3 positions that put Planet X between us and the Sun are greatest eastern elongation, inferior conjunction, and greatest western elongation. And finally, the 3 positions that put Planet X behind us on our side of the Sun are eastern quadrature, opposition, and western quadrature. As we review each of these 8 positions, we'll give you 4 different severity estimates, one for each type of object and an average of the 3. These severity estimates will range from a value of 1, which represents minimal consequences, to a value of 10, which represents an extinction level event where up to 90% of all species on the planet could perish. With this in mind, we now begin our countdown at level 8, our best case flyby scenario. The best case scenario is that Planet X enters the electrical kill zone while it is in conjunction to the Earth. At first glance, most would logically assume that a superior conjunction on the far side of the Sun would be the ideal candidate for position number 7 in our countdown, but that is not going to be the case. At position number 7 in our countdown is Western Quadrature. With the Western Quadrature, Planet X will be further away from the Sun and at a good distance ahead of us. The reason that Western Quadrature is number 7 is that if Planet X is a comet-like object or a small constellation, whatever is trailing behind it will mostly miss the Earth altogether. At position number 6 in our countdown is superior conjunction. Even though a superior conjunction puts Planet X on the far side of the Sun, an old saying applies: what goes around comes around. Yes, we'll eventually orbit into residual parts of the Planet X debris field and tail if it has one. And this brings us to number 5 in our countdown. At position number 5 is Eastern Quadrature. Even though an Eastern Quadrature flyby puts Planet X behind us, this position ranks number 5 because it represents the first truly hazardous electrical kill zone flyby point. This is because Planet X will activate the Sun electrically, and the surface of the Sun with the strongest activity will rotate towards the Earth. This brings us to number 4 in our countdown. At number 4 in our countdown is greatest western elongation. With Planet X at a greater western elongation position when it enters the electrical kill zone, Earth will be closing in from behind upon whatever Planet X happens to be dragging along with it. In this case, imagine Earth as a racehorse that gets a late start out of the gate, but then charges to the front of the pack. If so, what awaits Earth at the finish line? If Planet X has a tail, crossing the line will mean that Earth will be pelted with meteorite showers plus other nasties. Worse yet, in the event Planet X turns out to be a small constellation, that means that position number 4 in our countdown is the first to present us with the true risk of an extinction level event. This brings us to number 3 in our flyby countdown. At position 3 we have the greatest eastern elongation. A greatest eastern elongation flyby is more likely to put the Earth in the crosshairs of a catastrophic solar storm. This is because Planet X will activate a region of the Sun, which will then rotate in our direction. The result will be an increase in electrical kill zone threats to the Earth. While the threat levels for a comet-like object or a mini-constellation remain unchanged from the number 4 position in our countdown, a greater eastern elongation flyby increases the electrical threat of an asteroid-like object flyby significantly. This brings us to number 2 in our countdown. At position number 2 in our countdown is opposition. Even though Planet X and most of its debris field, and tail if it has one, will be further away from the Sun than the Earth, an opposition flyby will literally put Earth in a direct line-of-sight position between Planet X and the Sun. As Planet X enters the electrical kill zone, Earth will suffer heavily, in the crosshairs of what will surely be an electrical duel of the Titans. And this brings us to number 1 in our countdown. And finally, at position number 1 in our countdown is inferior conjunction. We can only pray that Planet X does not enter the electrical kill zone while it is in an inferior conjunction to Earth. For if it is a comet-like object or a small constellation, we're looking at the very real possibility of an ELE, an Extinction Level Event, where up to 90% of the species now living on Earth go extinct. For more in-depth information, an ebook with a transcript of this program plus a detailed technical briefing is available. Published in several popular ebook formats, you can learn more about it and other 2012 and Planet X related topics at yowza.com. That is YOWUSA.com. Until the next time we meet, please remember Marshall's motto: destiny comes to those who listen, and fate finds the rest. So learn what you can learn, do what you can do, and never give up hope. This concludes our February 2009 report.